Hi everyone, welcome to Java Ninja channel. In this video we are going to see how to perform insert and search operations in Milvus vectordb using Spring AI. In our previous video we had already done the configuration with Spring AI and Ollama. You can find the link of the previous video in the description. In this video we are going to insert and search the data, and this is the data we are going to be inserting now into the Milvus vectordb. Let's get to coding. Let's quickly take a look at the collection that we have, product embeddings, and this is the description vector that we are going to generate with the help of embedding model. Let's dive into the code. First we will create a Pojo class product request. We will keep it inside model package. The product request Pojo class will contain all the fields that we just saw from the collection. We will be getting these fields from the request sent by the user. So we have created product ID, description, category, brand and price. Let's quickly create the getters and setters for them. Now we will head back to the product controller class and create an endpoint for us. We need a JSON object for parsing. Now we'll create an endpoint /insert. For now let's just keep the method as void. We will come back to it and change the type. Now we are accepting the user's request, and let's see how are we going to create the vectors. For creation of the vectors from the description, again we are going to use the embedding model. Here we are using JSON to convert this into a JSON array. Let's create JSON object where we are going to store the attributes of the collection. Here we are going to set the product ID. We will get it from the request. For setting the vectors, the method is a bit different. It is called as add. We will set the description vector and we are going to set the value for this, which is vectors. Rest of the properties are pretty much straightforward. We can just keep on adding the property from the request that we received. We are done with creation of JSON object, but the data that we send to Milvus for creation of rows, it needs a list of JSON objects. So we create a list, and in our use case for each request that we receive, we are going to just populate a single record. So this list will just contain a single JSON object. Now we are going to create insert param. This is the object that is actually going to be sent to Milvus. We are going to build this. We have to provide the collection name, and then we just have to provide the data. With rows data. And now this object is complete and ready to be sent to Milvus. Now the type of object that we get when we try to insert a value or a record to Milvus is mutation result. We call the insert method of the Milvus service client and send insert param, and we get mutation result. Here we are just adding a simple check that if no record got inserted, that means result dot get insert count is 0. We can just return it is a bad status. HTTP status dot bad request, and we can just return it. Since we are returning the response entity, let's change the return type of this method also. Okay. Now, in the scenario that we are able to insert some records into Milvus, we will get the insert count as more than 0. For those cases, let's give out the status as 201. Since we have to return entity of type string, let's just return JSON object. And our method is complete, and we are ready to populate data into our Milvus collection. Our application is running now. Now let's create some records into our collection. So I have made this post call / insert, and this is the body of the request containing all the attributes. So we see our 201 response, and this is the JSON object that we got. Now this is the vectors that we generated from the embedding model. Let's go back to the code. So this particular line is responsible to create these vectors. Let's head back to our Zillies collection. Let's see whether we were able to submit the data successfully or not. It says here loaded entities as 1. Let's preview the data. Here we see whatever we sent from the request, we are able to see it. It got persisted. Now similarly, I am going to insert a few more records. Nothing fancy here, we are just changing the various attributes and inserted. Now with the same way that we did, I am going to insert a couple of more records so that we can perform the searching operation also. This is the fourth record that I want to insert. This is also done. Now let me insert one more record. 1005. Okay, this is for sunglasses. This is going to be the last record. So we have inserted total 5 records. Okay, 1001, 1002, 3, 4, 5. Everything is here. Now take a look at the description, because we are going to be creating search operation now. Let's create the search operation. But before that, we need a Pojo object which can take the search request. So it's going to be a very simple Pojo. It will just contain a search query and how many results that we want. Let's create getters and setters for these two fields. Now let's head back to the product controller and create a search endpoint. Search endpoint has to return a list. What type of list? We are going to figure it out very shortly. For now, let's just keep it as a list. We will take search request in the request body. Now again we will follow the same process. We will use the same embedding model to create the vectors from the search query. So whatever the user is asking, that search for this particular description, we are going to create vectors out of it. Now the search request, it takes list of type float, but what we have is array of a float. So here we are just converting a float array to a list of type float. Nothing fancy here. It's just we have a requirement that we need to pass the list of float. So we have converted the array to a list. Then we are going to create simple search param. And we have to provide what is the collection name, what are the vectors that we are going to find. Limit means how many search results that you want to fetch from the Milvus DB. Output fields means what are the column names, column values that you want to be shown. So you can add more values like description, brand, category. For now I am just using description. And we are going to invoke search method from Milvus service client. We will receive a search response. And we have to get the list of records from this search response. So search response gives us the list of row records. And this is the same return type that we should be using for our method. We will return row records, and let's copy the type and put it on the return type of the method. Here we are done. The application is started. Let's take a look at the data one more time that we have. So you will see the product ID for 1004. It has smartphone with excellent camera. But we will not give the same query. We are giving mobile that can take good photos. Let's do a search. So the first result is smartphone with excellent camera. It was able to find out that there is an item with this description which matches the search query. And the score that you see, it shows how much is the matching percentage. So for the first result, the score is more than 76%. That's a very good match. For the remaining two, the match is very less. So you can take the first value for your particular search item. Now we are going to make a second request. We are asking for code for cold weather. So the first result that we got is blue denim jacket for winter. It has 59% match. Other match that we got is 35%. That you can neglect. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.